Coming up, Apple's iOS 6 includes government alerts, forcing you to get all the government announcements. Told you that was coming. In his own words, Obama says he's a constitution-violating dictator. Kurt Nimmo article. Irish politicians grilled. Finance Minister over Bilderberg meeting attendance, Steve Watson. We're going to be breaking it all down coming up. Let's go to your calls, back to your calls. I hope some of these callers are concerned about Obama saying I can launch wars, I can get rid of borders, I can legalize whoever I want to vote for me, I can shut down your local power plant. I mean, is there anything we won't put up with? Is anybody concerned about that? 800-259-9231. Ed in Pennsylvania, go ahead.
How's it going, Alex?
Good.
Hey, I thought you guys were going to be at the Hilton, the Dulles Hilton. So I got a room there, and I closed the bar, the Cardinal Lounge there, with drinking with an undercover Marine. And we were talking about you. You were the guy that snuck into the woods. That's how they refer about you. And you know, it came out. You know, at first he didn't tell me he was an undercover Marine, but it came out. And he was wearing a $4,000 Omega watch. And I looked it up on the internet, and it's a James Bond version watch. What's a Marine who gets paid like $35,000 a year wearing a $4,000 watch? What's up with that?
They run narcotics. Those guys work in diplomatic detail, so they turn a blind eye, at least little kids, women getting run. That's all over the news. Narcotics, 40-something billion in giant pallets that were flown into Iraq. Privates got $30,000. Colonels got $2, $3, $4 million, all to corrupt them. And yeah, every hotel in that area. I don't know why you say you thought I'd be at that hotel. I never said what hotel I was going to be at. We actually stayed at 2, and we would never decide where to stay until the last minute, so they couldn't break into our room and get everything. We kept changing rooms and stuff because we've been broken into before. And yeah, they're just plainclothes Marines everywhere. And they were coming up saying, hey, let's blow stuff up again this year. Not to me, but to others. So they could put out a fake bomb threat, but nobody took the bait from them. And I mean, what a James Bond. He's sitting there and then later admitted he was an undercover Marine spying on his enemy, the American people.
Yeah. Well, another agent, an older guy who worked for another agency, I guess, he goes, oh, is that watch? He broke into our conversation. He goes, is that the Omega watch? And he asked him, he goes, yeah, I'm undercover. He goes, I'm a Marine. And he asked him what branch or what thing. He goes, corrections. He said corrections.
All right, buddy. Well, here's the deal. Did you call in about anything, or why didn't you shoot video of these undercover guys? I mean, what's the point?
I was sitting at the bar drinking with them.
No, I understand that. You told us that. So that's the point of the call?
Excuse me?
Are you drinking now?
Oh, no, sir. No, sir. No, sir.
All right, listen, I appreciate your call, Ed. I really do. I was trying to get to the point of your phone call, but I guess you're just saying you hung out with some plainclothes Marines. Well, we have footage of the Marines with their Marine Corps license plates driving in and out. They were there 4 years ago when we covered it, and they're assigned to the State Department. And not your average Marine, but these Marines, because they're part of the house slave Marines, they get to be around the world leaders. So they'd shake their head at us. They would come out and say they wanted to shake my hand and then try to crush my hand, and really acted like mentally ill children. And so, hey, good guys, take all the shots the military wants to give you and be part of what you are and enjoy yourselves. Okay, you're on the winning team. America's collapsing. The drugs are being shipped in. We're a worldwide joke by design, and you get to target your enemy, the American people. Don't worry, mission complete. America's done. But we could always restore the republic. And I know that upsets you because you worship the Chinese-American flag. Welcome back to another hour of worldwide transmission as we attempt to wake up humanity to the out-of-control criminality that's taken over government and many top corporations that live off government monopoly and centralization. We're going to be taking your calls throughout this hour, interspersed with very important news into the next hour. Toll-free number to join us is 800-259-9231. It is, of course, Monday, the 18th day of June, 2012. And coming up, in his own words, Obama says he is a Constitution-violating dictator. He says the UN runs our military. He says he'll legalize illegal aliens without congressional approval, even though a few years ago he said that was illegal on videotape. We're going to be playing again. All of this is happening. And, yep, we told folks about this a long time ago. Apple iOS 6, and so do all the new smartphone stuff coming out, mandates government alerts, text alerts, video alerts. Obama, your gracious leader. So it's not just at Walmart now with the telescreens with big sis saying, trust no one but government. Now the president will be breaking in, and it says it will cut off your phone calls or whatever you were doing because government is going to force its way in front of you. Presidential alerts to be mandatory for all cell phone users. Apple eagerly awaited the iOS 6 update for iPhones and iPads will include controversial government alerts that some fear are part of the federal government's takeover of communications networks. Some fear, I mean, they admit that's the plan. I would just add, Watson, that we have warned as part of a takeover of communications networks with a bunch of links to where we've said that 10 years ago and a year ago. I mean, in compliance with the National Alert Program, the WEA will be coming to Apple devices that will run on the new OS once it arrives this fall. The iOS 6 compatible devices include iPhone 3GS, iPhone 4, iPhone 4S, iPod Touch 4G, iPad 2, and the new iPad. This means that users with older iPhones will be able to receive WEA messages once they upgrade their handset to the new mobile phone software. The federal government is keen to implement a centralized system of control over all communications, with last year's announcement that all cell phones will be required to comply with the planned program. Personal Localized Alerting Network. Yeah, the local threat fusion center, too, will pop up. In California, they say they want to have the license plates be a TV screen that will pop up, you know, when you're wanted. You know, you run from the CPS, they're going to take your kid because you didn't vaccinate. They're going to call you a kidnapper. They already do. But it'll be on billboards everywhere. And good little citizens will get a little credit added to their little card when they report you. The freedom of it all. And that night, you will be machine gunned off the road, and your child will be with the dungeon keepers. Although users can opt out of receiving the alerts from FEMA and the Amber Alert program, messages directly from the president, the guy that ships guns into Mexico and legalizes illegals, will be mandatory. Mandatory messages from der Führer. Consumers will have the option to block all plan alerts except for those issued by the president, the LA Times reported. The thought of cell phone users being forcibly targeted with text messages from Barack Obama during the election season will obviously stoke concerns that the emergency alert system could be exploited. I'm going to have, it goes on and on, I'm going to have Aaron or Kurt Nimmo here in the office add my video from like, what, the last one, it was like a year ago? President to seize control of communications. Guys, search that. What was the name of my video? Here, I'll do it. Watch this. Let me see this. FEMA to take over communications. And I had links to all the documents, but of course, here it is. Yep. FEMA communication takeover test scheduled. FEMA communication takeover test. There's my videos. And that was from last October. And there's a video that goes along with it that is so very important where I break that down. People need to understand the full import of what this means. We'll be getting more into that after I go to some phone calls. Let's go to your phone calls. I'm going to go to Carl, and then we're going to go to Mark, Willie, Doug, Oz, and others. Let's talk to Carl in Georgia. You're on the air. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Alex.
Hey, buddy.
First off, I am no longer on active duty disabled Marine Corps gunnery sergeant. You asked a question earlier about what can we do? The fat idiot in D.C. decides to declare martial law between now and November, we go to war. If he gets reelected, we go to war. And he can have his little 100,000 Russians and 100,000 Chinese. There are millions of us vets who refuse to roll over for that individual and his gang of criminals.
Okay, now as bad as Obama is, and I agree with you, he's the worst president ever, what about Mitt Romney? If they put Mitt Romney in, they cement all their globalist gains. He just pays lip service to libertarians and conservatives and keeps moving ahead with the agenda. But I get the point of, it might as well still just get rid of Obama because the change up in management might slow him down.
Well, he's walking a thin line right now by declaring himself a constitutional dictator. And as far as Romney, he's just Obama light. First time he steps out of line, he will need to be removed, just like that idiot we got in D.C. now.
What do you make? Because, I mean, I understand your fine line point. I think they went over it. I mean, it's saying the UN and NATO runs the military, shutting down power plants, ATF saying they can make rules without law, and now saying the illegal aliens, he's going to legalize them when he said a year ago he couldn't do it under the law. I mean, this is treason.
Yes, it is. And when they had the members of the Joint Chiefs of Staff sitting behind Panetta when he declared his treasonous activities, along with the presidents in front of the Senate, they should have immediately been arrested, all of them.
Well, that's what the law says, but the law says you can't have drones with weapons above us. The law says you can't have the CIA operating domestically. The law says you can't have foreign banks and the Chinese government owning our fake debt that they induced us and signed us onto. You know, all day they tell you, we owe $15 trillion. Folks, we've signed on to 600+ trillion of the 1.5 quadrillion of the banker debt. 15 trillion is nothing. We're not even in debt. Everything is about how we're in debt and how we're bad and how we don't work enough. You got two Americas. You got people working their hind ends off and you got lazy people. But still, we're not in debt as a nation because of the lazy people that are just there to be voters for the big government. I mean, it's so incredible. This is not our debt. God bless you, sir. Good to hear from you. Yeah, that's the thing. The American people are buying guns. They're digging in. They're getting ready for war. But we need to also be out there in the info war with signs on the street corners, putting up bumper stickers, calling into talk radio, calling Congress, making as big a noise as we can to avert this physical situation. Because the globalists want us all to kill each other. I'm telling you, that's the plan, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go to Willie in Nevada. Willie, you're on the air.
Hi, Alex.
Wiley. Hey, buddy. Sorry, Wiley. Go ahead.
No problem. I've been thinking about this there's a very simple solution to this. The problem is that most Americans have no more faith in Congress because they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, which is representing us. I mean, why can't we put in a system so that when people would actually set up a voter registration, set it up, go online, put it in, and the representatives would just have to vote for what the majority says? I mean, the problem is we're giving them choice to not do what we ask. I mean...
Well, look, Congress has a 9% approval rating. The government's trying to legalize all the illegals because they're told, hey, vote to ban the guns, you'll get more welfare checks. So...
The people, if the people stand up and finally say enough is enough, you're going to start listening to us. You're going to start doing what you're supposed to be doing and do what we are telling you to do.
Listen, we've been telling them to follow the Constitution and Bill of Rights. All those constitutional positions are very popular. People have demanded them. The government instead is building armored bases, giant tanks, drones, and weapons. They've heard that we don't like them. They know we hate them. And their answer is militarize against us. Do you understand that?
Oh, no, I totally understand that, Alex. But my thing is that if enough people get together to make something else possible, the problem is there's nobody that is deciding on what to do. They all have no more faith, so they're deciding to do nothing.
All right, listen, I appreciate your call, sir. We're all busting our hind ends. I mean, we tried to use Ron Paul as a vehicle to at least educate people about the Federal Reserve, the New World Order.